It's been an extraordinary experience working on the Tin Pan Alley Rag for many reasons. One is the kind of continual exploration of these two men and finding the truth of the human condition that really is what this piece is about. And what audiences can experience is a wonderful sampling of, in many ways, of all of these great tunes and all of these great songs that were specific to this era of like around 1915 to 1918.
What interests me about the two men, the two characters together, Irving Berlin and Scott Joplin, are, you know, in Berlin's case, he's a younger man who's 20 years younger than Joplin at the time that they meet in our imaginary meeting. A man who essentially was really at the beginning of his career. He was famous and he was certainly a prodigy, but he was yet to write White Christmas and some of the things that we've known him. Well, God Bless America was still some years away. Joplin was an icon who was on his way down. In essence, he was someone who was known but who was becoming passé. At one point, one of the characters says, "Oh, ragtime is yesterday's lunch. It's becoming yesterday's lunch." And so these two brilliant men who were sort of like creative ships passing in the night meet, and they both have these big egos, and they both have big talents and big opinions about music and art, and fireworks ensue. And so what's interesting about that is always, you know, conflict and who's going to win and who's going to, you know, who wins what battle and how they win and how are they changed as a result of it. And so that's always fascinating to me.
These people that we know as icons, that they were human, and that there were life experiences that influenced their music. You know, he spent a lot of his life trying to be accepted into American society as an American. So he worked really hard to sort of be on the cutting edge and to give the people what they wanted. I mean, and it's interesting that he spent a lot of his life, as you know, trying to deal with the death of his first wife. I mean, it's something his daughters never said he never even talked about.
Her name is Dorothy Goetz, and she's from Buffalo, and she actually came from a family of artists. Her brother was a songwriter. Her sister knit sweaters, you know, artistically, and then she was a singer. And it was, you know, exactly like in the show. She came to New York and she met Irving Berlin. They fell in love. They got married, and she died tragically not long after they got married.
I saw my grandfather-in-law for the first time. I mean, I always knew him as a grandfather, but to see his love story with his first wife was very touching. And seeing someone who was really touched and hurt by the loss was something I had not experienced. It was told to me as a child, but I never really knew much about it, and that was really put in perspective for me, and I really felt it during the show, so that was really very moving for me.
I worked at Roundabout before. Back in 2003, I did Master Harold and the Boys, Ethel Fugard's beautiful South African play, and it was great. I mean, there I was supporting the wonderful Danny Glover, and that was a great experience for me. It was my first time on Broadway, and it was sort of an actor's dream come true.
You know, one of the wonderful elements of any company is its leader. And Todd Hames is one of the most exquisite, gentle, honest, and tasteful men that I've worked with in a long, long time.